Hey gang, it's Mike Gross back for the latest edition of Nittany Next, brought to you by Bobby Rahal Lexus. We were away for a week because Penn State had an open date. I hope you missed me. I know I missed you deeply. And a lot has happened since we've been gone. That might be an understatement. Penn State's last game, of course, was a 23-20 loss at Iowa, a game that included numerous injuries to key players, most notably starting quarterback Sean Clifford and defensive tackle and really defensive anchor PJ Mustafer. We know that Mustafer is out for the year. Within the Iowa game, Clifford's absence was huge. They led 17-3 when he went out and really looked on their way to beating Iowa pretty comfortably. That didn't happen, of course. And so we look ahead to this week's game with Illinois at Beaver Stadium on Saturday, and Clifford's status remains the big story. I'm speaking to you on Thursday afternoon. Last night, Wednesday, is the one practice of the week that's part of it is open to the media, and Clifford practiced to, I think, a lot of people's surprise. Outside of the program, he did practice and he was throwing and looked like he was pretty fully participating in the workout. So when it seemed to everybody like, and even James Franklin sort of created the impression that he probably was not going to play this week, and the other two backups were kind of splitting the reps. He said that as of Tuesday, and this is Wednesday, and everything changed. So it's an open question whether Clifford is going to start at quarterback or whether Penn State will go with Taquan Roberson, who is Clifford's backup and really struggled when he had to go in during the Iowa game. Struggled with something as elemental as communication, cadence, snap count, getting the ball snap to start a play. Penn State had 8 false start penalties in the Iowa game. And they were all with Roberson under center. Yeah, it was a very hostile environment. Very noisy stadium, Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City. There were a number of possessions where Penn State had terrible field position, and the Iowa fans were kind of right on top of them. Roberson is being asked to stand in there with all this noise coming down on him. I mean, it was a very tough spot for such an inexperienced quarterback to be put in. But again, all of those false start penalties came when Clifford was not in the game, when Roberson was in and Clifford wasn't. So I don't think you can ignore that. So the variable here, I think you know what it is. Now Franklin said in practice last night, Wednesday again, that they're going to divide the reps in thirds in practice among Clifford, Roberson, and a true freshman named Christian Villieu, who seems to have closed the gap considerably with Roberson since he got to Penn State over the summer. I can't believe they're going to divide the reps evenly in thirds when reps by the quarterback. This is sort of conventional football wisdom. Reps by the quarterback are supposed to be so precious in terms of preparation for this week's opponent, short term, right now. I can't believe he's going to divide them up, but that's what they said, especially when if Robertson's going to play, then he so obviously needs work. He so obviously just needs repetitions. Honestly, we don't know what's going to happen. We really don't. It'll be interesting to see who runs out there when the offense takes the field on Saturday. But even beyond that, Penn State, for the first time in quite a while now, and certainly the first time this year, is going into a game really beat up physically. It'll be interesting to see who steps up at defensive tackle to replace Mustafer. And also, to an extent, at running back. Penn State has a lot of running backs, but two of them, Devin Ford and John Lovett, who were playing, got beat up on during the Iowa game. And also, just in general, how Penn State bounces back and moves forward after another tough loss in a key game on the road. And that, let's be honest, has been a theme in the James Franklin era for all the good things that have happened to Penn State football since Franklin got here in 2014. Anyway, all of this might not matter because Illinois is a bottom feeder in the Big Ten. They won 2 games last year, and Penn State at the end of last year, remember, not a very good Penn State team in 2020, hung 56 on Illinois in the season finale. That led to the school promptly firing Lovie Smith, the head coach, and replacing him with Brett Bielema, who you may remember was the head man with some success at Wisconsin a while back, and then went to Arkansas in the SEC, where he was less successful. And most recently, he's been on Bill Belichick's staff with the New England Patriots. So this guy is a pretty seasoned, pretty good coach. So improvement for Illinois seemed very possible at the start of the year. They had 18 starters back. They are arguably the most experienced team in the country, incredibly. 40 fourth or fifth year players on the roster, 4 starters back and 88 career starts back on the offensive line as of the beginning of the year. And the O-line is that's Bielema's area of expertise. And Illinois opened the season with a pretty good win against Nebraska. Since then, they've lost 5 of 6, and the only win came against UNC Charlotte. In their last game, now Illinois also had a bye an open date last week. In their last game, they really did nothing offensively in a 24-0 loss to Wisconsin. Illinois is the 117th ranked offense in the country, second last to Iowa, by the way, second last in the Big Ten in total offense. And the matchup between Illinois' offense and Penn State's defense seems like a mismatch very strongly in Penn State's favor. So you would think that that would get them through this Saturday, no matter who plays quarterback, and moving forward to the big one, the following Saturday at Columbus against Ohio State for what will really be a season-defining game. If Penn State doesn't beat Ohio State, then they're not going to win the Big Ten. They're not going to go to the college football playoff. And really, the rest of the year will be about jockeying for position for the most lucrative bowl game bid. It'll be interesting to see how Penn State responds to all of the above. And there we are. Penn State versus Illinois at noon on Saturday at Beaver Stadium. I'll be there, and we hope that you check out all of our Penn State coverage this week and throughout the season at LancasterOnline.com. This is Nittany Next, brought to you by the good folks at Bobby Rahal Lexus. See you next time.